Alan, Snow White, the reported losses continue. $170 million. Let me bring this up from Forbes. This is insane. This movie continues. It's like it continues to fail. But I've got the story here. What are the salient details?
All right. Well, new UK financial filings reveal that the film's total production costs reached $336.5 million, far exceeding its original budget and making it more expensive than major Disney hits like Rogue One, Guardians of the Galaxy, and even Beauty and the Beast, which grossed $1.3 billion. At the box office, the film underperformed. It opened at $87.3 million worldwide, below projections, and finished at a $205.7 million global, ranking as the fifth lowest grossing film of Disney's 21 live-action remakes. Adjusted for inflation, older titles like 102 Dalmatians and Christopher Robin ultimately outperformed it. Only 1994's The Jungle Book earned less without the excuse of global crisis like a pandemic. Because the film was shot in the UK, the true cost became public through required financial filings of the government's audiovisual expenditure credit, which reimbursed Disney $64.9 million. Yes, Brits, that's where your tax dollars went. With theaters typically keeping about half the ticket sales, Disney likely received around $102.9 million of global gross against net costs of $271 million. That suggested estimate of $169 million loss from theatrical.
Well, this is, obviously it's a disaster creatively. Mm-hmm. It's, Razzies. It's going to sweep the Razzies. I don't know if those have been announced yet. But Alan, are you surprised? How does a company like Disney absorb that?
This came out at a time, it was last year, but it seemed like the way Disney fixes bad movies is just throw more money at it. And they threw a lot of money at this. They threw a lot of money at a lot of movies that just didn't do well. And ironically, I think it's the movies they don't throw money at that does better. But it's not hard to believe this. And it also tells you got to be careful who you cast and how vocal they are to the world.
69.
Yeah. I obviously Rachel Zegler, I think she is, no one's going to hire her for a big movie, not a spectacle film, not anything north of 25 million, 50 million that she's done. She's cooked. It's over.
Yeah. But look
at her.
But this speaks to just the pattern Disney has. They have no ounce of originality or creativity anymore. And so just like Marvel, all we have to do is just make more superhero movies and we'll make billions of dollars. And we saw where that went. And now it's like, we're almost through Walt's catalog. Let's just keep making live action versions of it. We'll make lots of money doing that. And they just hired from within to run the company.
Nothing will change. Yeah. Hey, I'm concerned about movie theaters. I'm concerned about the upcoming strike, but yet another threat to theaters is breaching the 45-day exclusive window. This is from Deadline. How this will devastate movies. When they say movies, they mean theaters. This is from Deadline, and you've got notes for this story.
Yeah. So this is actually an opinion piece from Joseph M. Singer, who is a former producer and financier. So he says, I believe the global film industry is at its breaking point. The rush towards streaming and platform-driven business models is threatening the very system that has sustained filmmaking for decades. At the center of the crisis is the exclusive theatrical window, a period when a movie is only available in theaters before moving to cheaper formats. If this window is shortened too much, especially below 45 days before TVOD, theatrical distribution will collapse. This is not speculation. It is supported by decades of data and disciplined financial analysis. In this business, a window is how a film earns value over time. Movies are released in stacked sequence: theatrical, transactional VOD or rent or buy, pay one streaming, premium VOD, and then pay two and linear television. The structure allows studios to get paid multiple times for the same movie. Most movies do not make money in theaters alone. The theatrical run creates momentum, cultural relevance, and pricing power that drives later revenue. Without this system, films do not become durable assets. They become disposable content. Over time, the theatrical window has shrunk from 6 months to roughly 45 days. But on comprehensive industry data, I believe 45 days is the absolute minimum needed to protect theatrical revenues and downstream models. If films move to TVOD or streaming sooner, audiences simply wait. They stop seeing theaters as essential and begin viewing them as optional or overpriced. Even a modest drop in box office can turn a profitable film into a loss. When Netflix says it will protect the 45-day window, what it actually means is 45 days to SVOD, not TVOD. That's a distinction that is critical. Industry standards are 45 days to TVOD, 90 to 120 days to SVOD. Removing TVOD phase cuts the revenue cycle in half, and that difference determines whether theatrical survives or dies. If films move directly from theaters to streaming after 45 days, most movies will become unprofitable, and the estimated jobs losses would exceed 250,000 workers within 5 years, affecting exhibitors, studios, crews, and creatives. When the window is compressed, audiences are trained to wait. Box office revenue collapses. Downstream markets lose value, and film libraries are permanently devalued.
Well, this is a surprise to no one. I mean, it's literally 6 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
That's it, 6 weeks. And they have trained audiences to wait. Also, I think part of this is economical. The economy, one of the first things that people cut out, entertainment. And it should surprise no one that we're at a time now where theaters are gonna, we're gonna lose more theaters this year. Over the pandemic, quote, reaction to the pandemic, we lost almost 2,000 screens. Are we gonna lose 1,000 more? And if Hollywood goes on strike, there will be a desire for content to fill those remaining theaters. Again, as you were saying in the last news story, that may bust the unions at some point. People are just like, we can't deal with this any longer.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What are your thoughts, Alan?
Yeah, I mean, you can only lose so much. The issue here is, for some reason, the studios are, they're on the get rich quick model. They need all the money and they want it all now. And that's why we're collapsing, as opposed to realizing that your film can make more money over time versus less money now. And as the article points out, that's a studio decision, but then it has ramifications. And that affects theaters, people who work at theaters, people who send movies to theaters. No one understands the scope of these decisions. And to your point, if I have to believe that if Hollywood goes on strike, that not only affects the box office, but it also affects our perception of the big studios. We will actively now hate them. Not only hate them, but hate the unions that are involved as well. No one wins from a public relations standpoint if they go on strike this year.